doing it.
Of
So,
course,
you know,
naturally.
yeah, really got to maximize that. Coming up to 200k on those points. Really looking good. It's a really good use of my time.
I don't know how much that is in money on a platform
It's
that's
like
dying.
It's like 200 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I need to cash them out quick, don't I?
Yeah. Just email Sony and see if you can convert them to super credit to spend on Super Earth.
I'm contributing 200k for democracy.
We are Lizardly live.
Okay.
He's just gonna ghost us. Such BM. Yeah, he's probably either still asleep, which is unlikely for Caden. Even when Caden gets blackout drunk, he's still up by like 9.
Yeah, he's not. He's not asleep.
Yeah.
I just think he's.
Have you checked the Xbox app? Is he online?
No,
I bet he's online.
If he's not, I'm actually going to be a bit worried that something's happened to him.
Yeah, it's either like he's online and everything's normal, or he never came home last night and he's lost. It's one of the two.
Yeah, he's not. He's not on.
Oh, great. Well, call the police, I guess.
Well, I seen him one day ago on home, but he could just be on his PC.
911. Yeah, my friend Caden Atta is not online currently. They're like, Caden.
They're like, oh my god,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we got a chopper in the sky. We'll look for him.
Yeah, Xbox's stock like immediately plummets by like 25%.
Yeah,
Caden's spending stops.
Yeah, exactly. All the games are like, all our profits are down on microtransactions. Where's Caden?
I mean, he's the biggest whale this side of the Mississippi. We need him back.
Yeah. Smiter, like, he just comes on and buys skins. He hasn't even clocked in hours on the game, but he still buys our skins. Our profits.
He doesn't even own the game.
Yeah. He buys them from the high res website. He doesn't even open the game. All right.
If you're listening, Caden, fuck you.
Yeah, he will listen.
That'd be quite funny though if he's like, he's just tuned in. He's just like eating a bowl of cereal in his dressing gown. He's like, oh, I'm meant to be on this.
Fuck. God.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's jingle and get going then.
Yeah, you done socials? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're jingling.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 131 of the Quick Cuisine podcast. My name is Deck, and joining me today is just Tim. I mean, that's good enough. That's good enough,
Thanks,
obviously.
man.
But I'm just
saying,
intro. It's just, it's
just fucking Tim this week. Yeah. Unfortunately,
bog standard Tim.
I'm gonna have to carry the show once again because I'm just with Tim.
That's just your name, isn't it? First name Just, second name Tim.
I'm just Tim. Anywhere else I'd be a Tim. You seen that movie? You seen Barbie?
Of course, yeah. It was Fox's first movie.
It's a great movie.
For cinema.
I love it.
It's good. I don't know if it's been nominated for the Oscars this year, actually. I imagine it's been nominated for something. Set design, costumes, probably.
But wait, how did the Oscars work? I don't know. Because why would it get nominated for this year when it was a last year movie? Was it? When did this
it was 23. They're always in March for the last year.
Oh, I see. So it's March to March. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Something like, there it is. Best Picture, Barbie. Yeah, it's still be all over the place.
Yeah. It was a good movie. It was pretty funny. I did like it.
Yeah, supporting actress, supporting actor, adapted screenplay, original song, 2 of them. Costume design, production design, got loads of nominations. Yeah, no, it was fun. Anyway, what are we here for? Oh yeah, Xbox.
Games.
Yeah, that's right, of course. Yeah, if you haven't been here before, we're mostly an Xbox podcast, but hey, we talk about other stuff as well, as you'll find out today. Wider stuff in the industry. We're definitely console agnostic. No console wars here. You won't find a drop of console wars here. We're very level-headed podcast.
as you can tell by the floating green dots in the background and the fact that our podcast is named after an Xbox feature. Yeah. Very
a dying
unbiased.
Xbox feature. Yeah. Just level there. Yeah. We might have a third jumping in today. We usually have Caden with us, but he's literally. We messaged him last night and he responded, "Yeah, I'm drunk. I'll let you know." He didn't let us know, so yeah, that's what we were joking about at the top of the show. Like, we don't really. He could be anywhere right now. He might still be drinking. We don't know.
Who knows? Poor guy.
Who knows? Tim, how's it going, buddy? How's game brain? How's normal brain?
Yeah, both brains are in a decent gear. Yeah, it's been a pretty standard week, to be honest. I'm kind of just in that phase of just waiting for the next big release, which for me is obviously Rebirth, which is Thursday this week. So I'm pretty buzzing for that. Yeah, obviously over the last couple of weeks, I said I replayed Remake as well for the anticipation of Rebirth. And yeah, what else have I been playing? We did some Helldivers this week. That was good fun. We had a good sesh on that last night. I started Nier Automata because it was really it was on sale. And it was like £9 or whatever, so I just got that, and obviously that's been on my list for a while. Nothing really else on my list, so it just instantly shot to the top. And what else? What else have I been playing? Oh, we did some like Party Animals and some Siege the other night. That was a good laugh. Where it was like 6 of us online. But yeah, that's kind of been it. Yeah. It's been a while since we had a big group on and did that. And yeah, Party Animals was a good shout. Party Animals is good, and it has so many more game modes than I ever thought as well. Whenever I play that game, I'm just
you forget, yeah.
It's just like from one, you're never really repeating. You're always just doing something different. So
yeah,
it is a good game. Yeah, it's very good.
I'll floor it.
But I think that is about it, to be honest, for me. It hasn't been too intensive, but yeah, a few bits and bobs here and there, cycling between both consoles at the moment. And yeah, that's me.
And still Helldivers 2, obviously.
Yeah, it's still Helldivers 2. Yeah, which is obviously still grand. When you can get on
when we
and
can
it
get
actually
in.
Works. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else has had this bug, but Deck had a bug last night where we got into the servers, we loaded into a mission, and he just had 2 giant purple question marks for weapons. And he couldn't shoot.
They didn't work, by the way.
Yeah, they didn't work. We tried killing him. He just came back with them. We even went back to the ship. You still had him. You had to like fully reboot your game. So, yeah, live service wise, the game is in a little bit of a state at the moment. I think they're getting their feet, planted, and it's getting better. But yeah, it hasn't been the smoothest launch. Like literally the last couple of weeks, it's been tough to even get in to the fucking game. And then when you do, there's disconnects. Your matchmaking doesn't work. You crash. You have weird bugs.
Out.
Yeah, all this sort of stuff.
We also had that. We had that thing where our second weapon wouldn't pull out, didn't we? Like we couldn't pull out a secondary. That happened to both of us for the entirety of the mission.
Yeah.
So like gimped us for the entire mission.
Yeah. So there's definitely some issues going on there, some teething problems, which weirdly are not getting spotlighted, which we keep talking about. It's weird. And I don't want the game to get gaslighted like for being crap. That's not what I'm saying. We love the game and we know it's a small team of devs, but like it's just weird that it's just not getting talked about. Like why people aren't just being like, why don't you just buy this in a few weeks when it's actually kind of stable? Like no one's mentioning that. So there's probably loads of people that have bought this game, and when they capped off the servers, they probably weren't even able to log on to it, which I find very strange that this isn't just getting mentioned and users aren't getting warned at all. But yeah. I don't know.
It's especially weird because the director himself is the only one who said that. The director, I think, posted about it on Twitter, like, look, if you're thinking about getting the game, maybe hold off a couple of weeks until we get this all ironed out, which is like, very respectable, very noble.
Okay.
Yeah, very respectable. But nobody else is fucking saying it. So
Yeah,
um,
it's a bit weird.
yeah. All I keep seeing from outlets about Helldivers 2 is, oh look, it's broken a new record on concurrent play count on Steam, and it's like, is there anything else you want to mention while you're at that? While you're talking about it, anything else you want to say that might maybe help people make an informed decision? No? Okay, that's fine. So it is what it is. But
I
I
also
mean,
find
it's still a great game.
I always find it quite funny because isn't like the main population actually on Steam? I find it really funny that
Yeah.
it's actually not that like crazy popular on PlayStation. Like it's literally like I don't know what the split is, but from a ballpark and looking in, it seems like it's like a 70-30 split or something like that. It seems like pretty heavily in favor of people who are always just getting it on PC. Yeah,
At least, yeah.
I found
That's
quite
what it seems to
interesting.
be.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we don't have hard numbers, but we've had like different, people doing different reports based on what the devs are saying about their total concurrent count, and then what it is on Steam, and then you minus that from the total count, and sometimes it feels like it's about 60-40, and other times it feels like it's as high as 80-20. But either way, it's still doing well on both platforms.
For sure.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, super excited for you about Final Fantasy. That's a big one. Obviously it's reviewed really well. Currently sitting at 93 Open Critic. Yeah, very good stuff. And it's been a bit of a, I've got this as one of our honorable mention points, but it's worth mentioning now. It's been a bit of a bonkers year for Japanese games in particular, hasn't it? Tekken, Persona, Final Fantasy. We're about to get Rise of the Ronin, obviously just on PlayStation. There's something else I'm missing as well. Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
All of these Japanese games.
Yeah, they're coming pretty hot out of the gates. Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm still not sure about Rise of the Ronin for me. Like I'm a little bit sus of that game. I don't know. There's something about it that just I don't think it's actually going to hit quite as hard as people think. But I don't know. When is that actually due to come out? Is it quite soon? Is it? It's like April.
Yeah, I don't know. I was having a quick look. March 22nd.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know. It just seemed kind of mid to me, but yeah, I don't know. Especially for a game that's really been in the oven for so long as well. But who knows?
I would say like it's probably going to come in at the same as what like Wolong did. Wolong's on 81 Open Critic at the moment, and then maybe then you add a couple of PlayStation points, and then so maybe 85.
Yeah, non-biased
level-headed,
as we said. Yeah,
very level-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have I been playing? So I've been playing. I've played a couple of things. Yes, obviously I've been playing Helldivers as well. Yep, Siege Party Animals. There's something else that I messed around with. I keep dipping my toes in Go Mecha Ball, which obviously is like really, really underrated. It's really good. Go Mecha Ball. Check it out. Honestly, it's like a Sonic top-down shooter roguelike. That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Interesting.
You're just a little guy with a gun, and you can turn into a ball, and you can roll around. You can get momentum, and then you come out as a ball, and you're a little guy with a gun, and then you pick up guns, and you keep going, and you level up, and you do the roguelike stuff. It's a crazy. I don't know. It's just kind of smooth. It's just an easy one. I've got 10 minutes free. I can't commit to anything longer. I'll play for 10 minutes.
That's fair enough.
But the big one, really, is Midnight Suns. Yeah, I started Midnight Suns last week, in between server downtime for Helldivers 2. And yeah, I've overall been having an okay time. I've only played it probably about 6 hours, so it's early days, but like the first 5 hours of the game have been pretty like mixed for me. I just has felt the pacing has been all over the place. I'm like, Doctor Strange, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Iron Man. And also, like, I'm really not sure. Like, I don't think they've pulled off. Like, it feels Uncanny Valley. I don't think they've done a good job in terms of, like, making the characters seem like, their own characters, like Guardians of the Galaxy did. That felt like
you think
they were done well enough.
Trying to copy.
But this is, it just kind of feels like they are the MCU versions, but like less well acted, and like I find most of the dialogue quite hard to buy into, and like quite bad at times. Like I don't, they're always like trying to like reference something else in the MCU. I don't know if you found that, like every other sentence is like they throw something else in there, and I'm like, do we really need to bring that up?
Mm,
Um,
a little bit. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I mean, it's obviously not the prettiest to look at, which isn't really a problem. But like, I think to make in terms of making a first impression with everything else that I'm speaking about here, like it's made the buying quite hard. The actual like game, when I'm playing the game, I'm like, this is fun. This is great. I like this. This is Firaxis doing their stuff and like making a nice, cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that deck builder going for it. It's like fairly simplified, but in a good way. Um, and like all the animations like actually in game feel nice and crunchy. When you get Spider-Man to thwip people, and I'm playing like got blade and I'm stabbing people through the heart, it feels good. It's great.
Mm.
And then the mission's over after 10 minutes and I have to speak to 16 people again, go to bed, walk the dog, find a ghost. It's like I'm in Hogwarts. Like between missions.
Yeah.
um and I think I've just hit the point where I'm finally out of like the full tutorial bit, and I'm now in the cycle of like you do your mission and then you come out and then it's nighttime and there's opportunities to like hang out, get all your upgrades in, and then you sleep again and then it's mission time again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like kind of the flow of the game, and I've just hit that. I'm like, okay, this feels a bit better because now I've got a bit more control over kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I do feel like they went, I don't know how it kind of happened, but I do feel like they kind of went a bit too hard on trying to make it like a Marvel simulator, like a Marvel Sims. Like to me, there's like way too much here of like, you're living in a house with Marvel characters. Talk to them and be their friends. And it's like, I don't care. Like there's
Yes.
every now and then I want to talk to, like if I'm talking to a character I want to talk about, I want to talk to, I get something out of it, and it's okay. I talk to Blade. I don't know, I actually know that much about Blade. I just think he's kind of a cool aesthetic character.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm talking to him, and you find out a bit more, and you get a friendship love, and you're like, okay, cool. But like being forced into do that over and over again to characters like that you don't care about is like quite frustrating.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
does feel like Firaxis had a template for their next game after XCOM, with the card system and whatever, and then they managed to sign a deal with Marvel, and they were like, right, make it Marvel, and like they had to add extra elements. Like a lot of it feels like very out of their comfort zone, and you can tell.
Mm.
But apart from the actual game bit, because like it's so weird that all of the meta game stuff is still here. Like in XCOM, just like you upgrade. Um, this bit over here, like I like the Forge, and you can get one-time use stuff, and like you have research and development going on, and then you can send people off on missions. Like all the stuff that's in their XCOM games is still there, but it's just been like it's just got like a Marvel skin over the
It's
top of
been
it, and it's like
Marvel-outsized, yeah.
I don't know. It's like I feel like they could have done something better. They could have like really made it like feel like a Marvel thing, but this just feels like it's Firaxis with a Marvel skin. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm having an okay time so far. I plan to keep going, because I really like the flow of the game when I'm playing it. So yeah, I'm going to keep going, but it's definitely been a bit of a weird experience for the first 5-6 hours.
No, yeah, I kind of agree with what you said. Yeah, someone who's played and completed it, and I rated it quite highly overall. But yeah, there's you get to a point where you just realize you hit that fatigue wall when you realize I can't talk to everyone, and there are some people I just don't like and don't have any interest in, so you can just ignore them. You really don't have to talk to Nico. You don't have to talk to Magic. You can just straight up ignore them. You can just talk to Blade and Iron
Wow,
Man or
two
whatever.
women characters. You would say
I
that.
found Nico really fucking whingy and annoying, to be fair. Like, I found her so irritating. Magic was actually my highest friendship level. I really like Magic.
Oh really? I just started getting Magic into one of my missions. Yeah, she's got a
yeah,
cool
she's cool.
ability set. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got like portals, so you can like transport people in and hit them into like
Yeah.
environmental hazards and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's really cool. She and Ghost Rider were like two of my highest friendship levels. But like, you just get to a point where you realize, yeah, you just don't have to talk to everyone. Like, I really hated talking to Captain America as well. Is that spoilers?
Captain America's in this game?
Oh fuck! Oh no!
Oh man!
Yeah, he's just so. oh my god, he's just so fucking patriotism. I just do the right thing all the time. He's just so fucking bland and fucking cardboard. I just didn't like talking to him, man. It's like talking to a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you just get to a point where you just don't have to go through that dialogue, or if you do, just skip through it. Like you're really not missing that much plot or anything like that. And then once I think you
Yeah.
come to that understanding, if you don't need to chew through fucking hours of dialogue, and you can just
Yeah.
keep the ones you like, whatever, and then move on to your missions. Like I think you're starting to understand, it flows better. But then, like you said, they've lent too much into this just needless talking to Marvel characters, because you shouldn't need to make that sacrifice of being like, there's just too much shit here, I need to cut people out. That should never be a
Mm.
thing that the player needs to do. And yeah,
Yeah.
they just lent a little bit too heavily into it, I think. Yeah.
It's just unfortunately, I just don't think it feels that cohesive. Like I think, like it feels like three different games in one. Like there's this card building tactical game, which I'm sure like by itself would have been great, and it is great here as well. But then it's kind of got this Marvel skin, which is like that's fine, cool, okay, fine. But like why, like why, like it doesn't feel like those things are particularly well matched. I mean, it's fine. It works here. It's fine. And then there's this simmy element as well, where you're like going around and you're talking to all the things and you're developing friendship levels and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that's fine, I suppose. Or, maybe that could work in some context, but why is that here as well? So you've got kind of these different things that don't feel like they quite come together. But
Mm.
like I say, the actual like the bits that Firaxis are good at are like clearly on display here, and it is fun, like having like different hero like superheroes there and doing their fun animations and getting the synergies going. Like I haven't even got really that high in the friendship levels. Oh my god, a cat on the screen. Look at that.
She's really bloody annoying. She's
For
in a
anybody
really
who got
annoying
look at
mood.
a cat and butthole on the screen. Look at that. Woohoo!
Dude. Oh, she's under the mic arm. She wants her food. Give me 2 secs. You carry on.
Yeah, all right. I'll carry on. Yeah. But the bit that Firaxis are actually good at is good here. It's nice. The animations are good. The effects are good when you actually get people going. And I know Tim has spoken quite highly of like when you get further in, there's like combos between superheroes, which I haven't got to yet. But I think that sounds really good. That sounds really fun. It's like how Marvel Ultimate Alliance used to be back in the day. If you guys ever played that, that always really I thought was fun. So drawing some inspiration from that in a tactical kind of environment is quite exciting. So I'm excited to see how that goes, but I think I'm going to be very liberal with spamming the B button when I'm speaking to people from now on, unless it's like a particular conversation I'm interested in, or maybe the main story.
Yeah.
So
Good shout.
yeah. So but that's been me. I swear I'm missing something. I swear there's something I played a little bit of that I meant to mention. But I
Did you
I
play
can't remember what it
Balatro
is.
in the end? I know that's on the notes for later, but did you play that?
No, I didn't. I haven't bought it yet.
You did.
I
You
think
did.
I think maybe.
You did dip into
Sorry.
Final Fantasy 14, but that was literally for like half hour. But
Yeah, maybe that's it. I guess I mean that was. I suppose there was. Yeah, I wanted to say that like as a co-op gamer, like if you're on Xbox right now, you're eating quite good, really. I suppose in general actually, because obviously Helldivers is on PlayStation, but like Helldivers is there. We had a surprise Dead Island drop into
it's cool.
Game Pass, which is really exciting. Which did fine, didn't it? But everybody was. It was quite funny because it's one of those games that was received quite well by the player base because everybody was expecting a trash fire because it had been in development for so long.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but actually came out at 75 on Open Critic, um, which is about as good as the first one. New liquor paints and new gore systems, and it seems like it's a good, fun co-op time. And it got nominated for one of the best multiplayer games of the year last year. Managed to sneak in a nomination there. So yeah, I think that's quite exciting. Dark Tide is still on Game Pass, which I've heard is tightened up quite a lot now. And Final Fantasy, 14 has just entered beta on Xbox as well. So yeah, a lot of co-op goodness right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm quite excited to get Final Fantasy 14 underway and give it a go. I've been watching some like gameplay of it and just what to expect sort of thing. It does look MMOE, like the combat doesn't look particularly exhilarating, but I mean if there's some cool abilities and the characters classes are cool and stuff like that, yeah, I mean I could get into it. But The problem with MMOs is them capturing me long term with their combat and stuff like that. Like they need
Yeah.
to have a good loot system and a combat system that does capture me. Like I don't really have an experience with MMOs, so I don't really like just the click on an enemy and let my character whack it that
Yeah.
happens for 10 minutes while I press 1, 2, and 3 a few times. You know, it's not the most entertaining thing to me. But I'm happy to give it a go. You know, I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy, and I've heard nothing but good things from this. You know, in its life cycle. Which, by the way, I think it's like 14 years old or something.
Oh yeah.
How nuts is that? And it's still fucking going, and it's still getting expansions, and it's still popular. Like
Can you imagine being a dev on that? Like, you
nuts.
must be. How are you doing that?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, no, I've heard positive things about it, you know, and they got cool little systems as well. Like I know that the way they do their expansions is it's not like a la carte as you buy them. So if you buy the latest one, you get the first two as well, which is kind of neat. You know, they're not fleecing the player base
Mm.
either. Like, you know, like Destiny, you had to buy each one. You couldn't just buy the latest one. You had to buy all
Yeah.
30 quid expansions if you wanted them. So that's quite nice. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll give it a go today. You know, I think that's on the list for potentially trying today, along with Dead Island and stuff like that. So it's a
Yeah.
good time for games at the moment. It's
Yeah, it is.
pretty
It
good.
is. Even in the face of death, Xbox is still managing to get some good stuff from the system.
Exactly.
So yeah, I booted up the other day to try it, but it was like coming off the back of Midnight Suns, and I was like, I had a thing where they just kept talking to me that they would not shut up, and I was like, I just want to punch some bad guys. And I started Final Fantasy, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like, what was I thinking? And like, yeah, I had to go through the whole tutorial process and create a character. And I was like, I don't know what any of this means, and I
Yeah.
literally got into the game, and I was like, nah, I'm done, and I just quit out.
It's yeah, I feel like with those sort of games you have to set aside like an hour plus just to wrap your head
Yeah,
around the tutorial and just what it wants you to do.
definitely.
And B, you know, there you got to you got to set aside a decent chunk just to actually fucking start the game essentially. But yeah. Oh, hi Joaquin, by the way.
Oh yeah, I meant to say
Um,
Hurricane. Yeah, what up?
yeah, and yeah,
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into some of the honourable mentions then. I've got quite a few down this week because I think there are quite a few things that happened this week that I think we'd be able to talk to out of interest, out of our interest levels. The first is that Gigantic is coming back, Tim. We spoke about this a few months ago that it was like kind of speculated because I think something
mm,
happened with the trademark. But yeah, no, now it's oh no, it wasn't. It went into a closed beta. But yeah, it's like being fully revived. I can't remember what it's actually called. There's like a something edition, Gigantic something edition. Um,
yeah.
and it's
What
being
is it called?
published by Gearbox. Gearbox just picked it up and they were like, "Yeah, we think this is still good. Get it
Yeah.
going."
Yeah, no, this is very surprising, and yeah, funnily enough, we actually were big fans of this game when it first came out. Like, God knows how long was it? It's like 10 years ago now, maybe more. I don't even know. 5 years? I don't know.
Oh, I think it was way further. I think it was like 2016 or even earlier.
Yeah, so like it's been a while, but yeah, we played this and we were big fans of this. I thought it was a really cool um system. I thought the characters were really cool and creative and colorful and um yeah, and I like the idea of like the bases you attacked were like these big like creatures that you destroyed.
Gigantic
Yeah,
creatures. Yeah.
gigantic creatures, sorry. Um that you destroyed. It was just like a cool novelty. Art style was great. You could place like these like turrets systems like each point of the map, couldn't you? Like when you controlled an area, you could like plant things, can you? And you could choose between like a healing thing or like an aggressive thing
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you know all these things to then gain the map control to push up a bit further. And those were the little points you fought over to get pressure on the map. Yeah,
Definitely.
no, I thought it was really cool, and I'm actually excited to see this come back. I still don't know how I feel about it though, because as much as I did enjoy it back then, it was free entry, and it was obviously free to play. And now if I want to try it again, and maybe nostalgia's getting the better of me, I do have to put 40 quid into it or however much it is. Um,
It's only 20.
oh, is it only 20? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, I'm a little bit on the fence with it. But it'd be interesting to see how it's being received. Because I
Mm,
did enjoy it, and I wouldn't be opposed to coming back.
I did.
Because
Yeah,
we're kind of like you said, it's been a while since we actually all like met on as friends and had a bit of a party game sort of moment, and this is that sort of game which I feel like could attract quite a
definitely.
lot of our friends, because I can't remember what it is it a 5v5 or is it like a
It's 5. I'm looking now. It's 5v5. Yeah.
it is 5v5, yeah, so like I feel like that could gather a decent amount of our friends to then you know reignite that flame. I feel like it could be a game like that. So yeah, I've definitely got my
Yeah,
eye on it, and I think it's really cool because I do think the game got done dirty a little bit because it had some very unique ideas and it just never gained the traction. And then even though it released, I think before Overwatch still somehow just sort of like overshadowed it and
yeah.
just kind of I don't know how, but I just don't think it gained the traction it quite needed. But yeah, it's cool nonetheless.
Yeah. And I mean, it was unfortunate for us, really, wasn't it? Because at that time, I had a look. It came out in 2017. A lot of our attention was soaked up by Smite. And Smite being
Mm,
quite similar in that it's a third person console friendly MOBA. And I think it was the first. It was like one of the first Xbox PC like play anywhere titles at the time. I don't think it ever really got really popular, but it was quite well regarded. But it seems like it didn't quite break through. You know, to get a lot of players.
yeah.
But it was always good. Like when we played it, it was good. And I'm the same. I'm like side eyeing it a little bit because I'm like, what's the deal here with like support? Like, if you just flick the servers back on, um, because I looked at like the trailer for it, and they haven't done any work to it. Like, it looks kind of dated, to be honest. Like, it's still a
Mm,
good looking game in terms of the direction, but like it looks kind of dated. Um, and it's like, are you just reviving a corpse here? Like, is there going to be? Do you have a team for like ongoing support? Like, and I haven't seen any commitments to anything. Like, here's a roadmap.
mm,
Like, we're going to support it for at least a year. I haven't seen anything like that, so it does worry me a bit that if like, there's, let's say, 10,000 sales, and then they say, yeah, that wasn't enough. We needed at least 50K. Yeah,
right.
we're not supporting it anymore. Well, yeah, we'll keep the servers on for line for a year, but that's it. Like, that kind of makes me
Mm,
shrug a bit. But at the same time, it is only 20 quid. But I'm definitely side eyeing it. Like,
mm,
what's the plan? It does help, however, that it's this time they're releasing it on all platforms. So everything, last gen, this gen, PC. So like, it's probably going to find a decent size player base to keep it going. But well, I'll have to wait and see if it's looking good, gets a bit of traction. Then I'll probably do. I'll probably buy
yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm definitely in that same boat as you. I kind of want to see what they're doing in terms of content, in terms of everything like that. Because if it's just a case of, like you said, they're just flicking the servers back on. All the skins that you could buy in the store are now earnable via just game time because you're paying the price tag up front. Um, if that's all they're doing, then yeah, I'm not that interested. Like, isn't like that's not enough, I think, to get me through the door. But yeah, if they're just like, we've added a bunch of new skins, we've got a couple new characters come in, all that kind of stuff. Here's the roadmap, then maybe, yeah. But it's definitely an interesting one and one I never thought I'd ever see the day. But
No,
yeah, yeah,
there we are.
I'm exactly the same as you. I'm just keeping my eye on it. Yeah, I'm
Mm,
tentatively excited to say the least.
absolutely.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, Wacky was
Um,
right. You have got a little bit. You've got some god rays going on in your camera. You want to just tilt
yeah,
it
I
forward
know.
or back a little bit. See if
Let's
you
see
can
where it
get
go.
that angle. I know you still got your god rays.
Yeah, I know. I did
You're
fiddle
a
with it.
Bethesda game.
Yeah, that's right. That's just my holy power. I'm a Templar, mate. Okay, here we go. So let's quick fire through the rest of these.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to be out of here by 4, really. But we got beautiful Avowed dynamic background, which has gone live now. Usually they only get these live like just before a game releases, so clearly they saw the reception to that
Yeah, I'll put it
gorgeous
on.
uh,
Yeah, it's great.
key art.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice. Um, So you can go and check that out now. And there's also a handful more dynamic backgrounds as well. If you've got an Xbox Series S or X, that I think are like Xbox heritage celebrations. Like there's Oceania, I think, and there's like Pacific, and then there's a couple of others.
It's
I
also a
think
new one for
Black
Apex
History
as
as well.
well.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, they're building up their catalog now, which is really nice. Because I think it's nice. It makes the home screen feel quite alive, which I think like PlayStation consoles have always been really good at. It make the UI feels quite alive in a nice way.
Definitely.
Right, we've got to talk about Borderlands. We've got to talk about what's happening there, man. I mean, if you don't know, dear listener, we are big Borderlands fans, massive Borderlands fans. It's probably one of our most played franchises, probably one of our in our top 5 all times. Borderlands 2 being an all timer, even Borderlands 1 and 3 also being very, very strong. Made some of the best DLCs ever in Borderlands 2. We're big fans, needless to say. This movie is such a conundrum. It's such an enigma. I don't understand what's happening here. Do you have any insight, Tim? What's going on?
It does seem a bit fever dreamy, doesn't it? Like I don't really know what's going on here. I just feel like the castings are just so weird, and I know I'm just playing the same fucking note everyone is on the internet right now, but like they really are. Like Roland being Kevin Hart is so strange to me. What did they just want to try and do that to make the movie a bit more comedic? But then Roland's not the comedic character, so lean more heavily into Claptrap or lean more heavily into Tina or someone like that. Roland just doesn't. He ain't that guy. He's also not fucking 5 foot. Like, I'm sorry, Kevin Hart. I am height shaming you here, but Roland is not like up to fucking Lilith's waist, and it just looks weird. What are you doing right now, dude? You're going
Sorry, I'm just messing around with my supplies.
So yeah, to me it's just weird. He just seems like a really off cast for it, and he's got like a really high pitched voice, and it just doesn't scream Roland to me at all. To me, that is the worst casting in the movie by far.
Yeah, it's so bad.
But I also think who's the one? It's a famous actress who does Lilith. Is it like Kate?
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett. Yeah.
She's a great actress. Don't get me wrong, but like, she just seems a little bit too old to play Lilith. She seems a bit old, and so does the person who plays Tannis. Everyone seems kind of old in that movie.
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. But this other thing, this is like for the most part. I mean, I can't speak for Kevin Hart, but Kate Blanchett is a goated actress. Jamie Lee Curtis is a goated actress.
Yeah.
Like Jack Black is like kind of goated in his own way, but like those two in particular will have been expensive. I don't understand why they agreed. Like, what were their agents smoking? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what dirt Randy Pitchford has on these actresses, or like to get them into his film. Yeah, it's so confusing. Like, how did you get fucking Kate Blanchett, Oscar Award nominee winner, etc., etc., the Galadriel, to be Lilith in Borderlands? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And you're right, it's not even a good casting, I don't think.
Yeah, just like, because Lilith is, I don't know, she's youthful, she's quite young, and she's all magical.
She is,
Like, she looks that way. And it just seems very odd. I feel like there are 1,000 different actresses you could have used to play Lilith and just given them red hair, and it would have worked. And that's nothing on obviously Kate, but it just doesn't seem right. It seems all over the place. And I don't know. The one thing they seem to have done well is Claptrap seems alright. Claptrap seems fine.
Yeah, Jack Black is Claptrap is a good casting.
Yeah, and like him in the trailers seems fine, kind of works, whatever. Tina is a little bit weird. Tina's kind of weird. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I gotta say my hopes are not high at all for this movie. I just don't even know what really to say. I feel like I will go and watch it, just because I think, one, it's going to be hilarious, and two, it's just Borderlands. So why not, right? I could have a good time if it's decent, and I'm probably going to have a good time if it's crap as well. So, but my hopes are not high for this. And then they've also started talking about a Borderlands cinematic universe and multiple movies, and I'm just like,
I'm gonna chop my hands off. Like that is ridiculous.
I
What are you
just don't
talking about?
know. I just
What
don't know.
what what are you talking about?
It
Borderlands
doesn't.
cinematic universe.
It doesn't really. I think even if it done well, I just don't think that's a game that translates to movie. I just don't think it is.
Oh, I don't think so either.
It just doesn't work.
I mean, it's a cool world. Don't get me wrong. It's like it's got quite a unique like flavor to it, but it's
Also, where's Brick and
yeah,
Mordecai? Where are they?
right. Why is it
Why
Krieg in
is
the first film? What are you
Krieg?
on about? What are you
Krieg is like a
doing?
fucking DLC character in the second game. I don't understand why Krieg is here.
I reckon they just couldn't find proper casting for the other two. And also, I was thinking this. I'm like, who if they did have Mordecai in, because also Mordecai is like a very well known and loved character. The perfect casting for that would have been Diego Luna, Andor from and the guy in Rogue One as well. Do you
Oh
know what I'm talking about?
yeah, that
It'd be
is a good
so
casting.
perfect.
Yeah, that is a good casting. Yeah,
I think he's. I want to say where is he raised? Mexico City. So he's Mexican, but he has the right vibe, the right accent, and everything. That'd have been perfect.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, it's such a I don't understand, and it's like I don't. You can't just start calling everything a cinematic universe. Like you can't just say that. That is
Mm.
stupid.
It is very stupid.
It's,
I don't even know who the
don't
villain
commit to that.
is in this one. Like, because obviously they're thinking like cinematic universe because at some point they're going to want to do Handsome Jack, which is obviously what Joaquin's put in the chat as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the villain in this one. The trailer didn't give off any indication of what the threat was. I feel like it was just
No.
random, stitched together nonsense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I was thinking like if they were going to do like a casting for like Handsome Jack, I was thinking like I don't know, maybe someone like David Tennant could do a decent job at something like that. But I don't know, it's quite hard.
I think they
Again,
should just give
but
it to
the guy
to
who
the
just did
actor.
it, yeah, which is what they were saying about the
Damien
person
Clark.
who
Yeah.
voiced Claptrap as well. Like, it's great, it's Jack Black, we love Jack Black, but like, you could have just given it to the guy who actually voiced Claptrap.
Well, that's a whole like thing, isn't it? I don't know if you remember that. Like the one who did it in 1 and 2 didn't do it for 3 because he was like Randy Pitchford assaulted me multiple times and he wouldn't pay me. Um, so he
Oh,
he, he refused to do it. So they gave someone else doing it for Borderlands 3. Yeah,
so
that's like a whole thing.
he's
So
probably backdating
yeah,
his checks for Kate Blanchett. That's why.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
God, dude.
man. So yeah, that's the Borderlands movie. Not confident, but whatever.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time? Actually, I did want to just because I wanted to quickly give a shout out to Balatro, which is like it's one of those games like it's. I mean, we've had a bit of a crazy start to the year, haven't we? It's like we've had like multiple games which have had like lightning in a bottle moments. Like every 2 or 3 weeks, we're having a game pop off in popularity, and Balatro is the newest one. Um, it was Power World, then it was Helldivers, and that's if you ignore Like a Dragon and Tekken in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it seems to be Balatro. I'm seeing it kind of everywhere. Currently sitting at 91 on OpenCritic.
Nice.
It is a poker deck builder roguelite. If you've played Slay the Spire, think of that, but like poker. um, and it's
Interesting.
really doing numbers at the moment. It's very cheap, £12 on PC, Xbox, Switch, PlayStation. I'm very excited. When I have the opportunity, I'll get round to it, and it really makes me wish we had cloud access to all our library right now because I would buy that immediately because I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that and I'll play it when I'm on the go. But um,
Perfect
I'll hang
game
on
for
to
that.
it for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I want the achievements and everything. But that looks like right up our alley in particular. It looks really good.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I have to admit, I haven't really looked up anything on it, but yeah. I mean, I'll definitely give it a look, watch some trailers, and I mean,
Mm.
anything that's being compared to Slay the Spire, I'm probably going to at least try. So
You'll see what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it's a vibe. So yeah.
Rad. And then quick and final shout out in the honourable mentions to Shadow of the Erdtree for finally showing, rearing your ugly head this
Who did
month.
it?
I can't remember. Did they Shadow of the What did you think? What did you think of the what we saw?
Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. Yeah, I thought it had a really cool tone and like story setting to it. I think it looks really fun. I think it looks big. Big expansion to the map. Bosses look cool. The sort of, I guess, the guy at the end who looked like the sort of overarching big boy of the DLC looked very, very cool, like very menacing. And yeah, I thought the whole vibe of the trailer looked really good. I heard it's quite it is like an expansion, right, rather than a DLC. I've heard this is like $40, or whether that's equivalent the same in pounds at £40, or whether or not we'll get that for 30 or 32 or 33 or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's a hefty sort of, like, I guess you could sort of see it as an expansion. So yeah, I mean, do From Software miss, right? So it's
Do they?
probably going to be a
Can they?
banger.
Could they?
Yeah, I think even if they tried to miss, I don't think they could.
They'd fail. They'd fail at missing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Quite excited for this. I've been on like a multiple year FromSoft burnout, but then every time I pick up a FromSoft game, I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. This is great. This is amazing. But I'm never like, I'm not at the stage where I'm like ever like super excited to jump into a Souls like anymore. I don't know why. I've just kind of flatlined on it a little bit. But whenever I play them, I'm like, oh no, this is amazing, and that's exactly what happened to me with Elden Ring. 100% in it. So yeah, this will be exciting. I don't know if I'll get it at launch because I'll have other stuff going on, but it'll be a 90 plus expansion.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, very exciting.
definitely.
Okay, right. Let's move on to the sort of main topics for the day, the Xbox related topics. So it's really annoying that Caden's not here because I wanted to ask him, what his thoughts were from last week after the podcast, and now this week we've had the 4 games confirmed that are going to other platforms, being Grounded, Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, and Sea of Thieves, which we kind of knew if you follow it closely because that's been leaked by multiple sources. And it's happening now. We've got the release. Pentiment is now out. The other 3 games are coming in the next few months. You can go onto your PlayStation and see Sea of Thieves there. It's a very weird experience, but you can do that. So I guess I just have your thoughts developed at all since there? I guess that's where I wanted to start. Like, are those the 4? Like, has anything changed from what we said last time?
Not really for me. No, I mean these, as we said last week, these were the 4 games that we did predict. They have come, and I don't see an issue with it personally. These are all games that could do with a community boost to keep it going. Sea of Thieves. Pentiment is perfect for your portable device, on the go sort of gaming. I think it fits well into what Switch does, as it kind of feels like it kind of checks that indie box that a lot of people use Switches for, and to play those sort of games. So I think it's a great fit. I don't have an issue with these games coming. I don't think they're massive ultimate smash big hits from Xbox, and like people are going to move and change system because these are now coming there. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Oh, and obviously Hi-Fi Rush as well, which is probably the biggest one in terms of its who it's developed by, and its rating and Game of the Year nomination, all that sort of stuff. So Hi-Fi Rush is obviously the biggest one there. And again, I don't have an issue with it. It's been and gone on Xbox. Anyone that would have played that has probably played it by now. Single player experience, one and done. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and so I'm the same with you. Yeah, nothing's changed there. I guess the wrinkle that remains is, where do we go from here? Like we saw after the interview, Phil had that. After the update, Phil had the update with interview with The Verge. My God, and he said like he wouldn't shut the door on something like Starfield or what was the other game? Indiana Jones. They asked him directly, "Are they ever going to come to other platforms?" And he said, "I don't think we should shut the door on it." I don't think and that's I think where the writing is on the wall. That if there's an opportunity to bring, like, they're not going to say Xbox community, this is your game, and this will be only this console forever. I think there's always going to be a point where they start thinking, is this worth putting this on other consoles now?
Yeah,
And
100%.
and that does give me a couple. That does give me a couple of mixed feelings. Like and I've said this before. It's not because I don't think that won't work for them. I think that will work for them, but I do think that will erode away the console market, like their console market, which I think they know and they'd be fine with, because they're converting them into subs on all platforms, purchase on all platforms. Ultimately, it works out for more money from them. It just doesn't work out well for me, for what I do right now, which is primarily play on Xbox as my primary platform. So that's the only wrinkle, like, because some of the other whispers we've been hearing is like, they've been thinking about Gears of War like appearing on other platforms, and at that point, it's like, well, this is where I look at Xbox and Microsoft as a data-driven company, and they're just looking at numbers. They're looking at numbers, they're looking at Excel, and they're going, look, after 2 years, profits have taken a dip. It's no longer profitable. So if we put it on other platforms, profits start to come up again. And I'm like, yeah, okay, totally get it. Totally, I get it. You see numbers, numby go up. That's what you want. You want numby go up. But I'm like, but have you considered that? Have you considered, the brand identity? And I think that was something that we were just starting to get a hook on. We've got Starfield, we've got Shy as Hi-Fi Rush, and if they start doing that, they lose that. You think of Xbox, you think of PlayStation, you think Ellie, you think Joel, you think Kratos. Yeah, and the list kind of goes on. They've got a lot of mascots. Spider-Man. You think of PlayStation, Mario, Zelda, whatever. There's more. You think of Xbox, Chief, maybe Marcus Phoenix. And those are 20 plus years old. That's a bit of a problem. So I just think there's bits that the numbers don't show here that are going to maybe backfire a little bit. Like I said, overall, I think the strategy is fine. And if they're going to do that, that's fine. They might lose me as a primary Xbox player if they don't make it worth it for me. I might end up going PC at some point. Depends on what they do with hardware. Again, there's a lot of unknowns, but I could see it. I still see it being successful for them in the long run, but it's for sure. I can see there being problems here.
Yeah,
that's the thing for me. Like, how can I, when you show me your showcase in June and you show me your lineup of games, why do you expect me to now be really excited when I could consider, playing these games on other platforms, that has everything. So it's up to them, really. It's Xbox has to convince me that it's worth it for me as an Xbox owner. Of course, Game Pass is still a massive part of that. We've spoken. It's hard to deny the success. Maybe not the success, but the value, the attraction points of Game Pass, and that's still a big point for me. So, yeah. So it's not really changed, but it's definitely. I do see the writing on the wall here. That I think this isn't going to be the last time this happens. We're going to see other games and maybe big games as well go to other platforms at some point, and I think that's going to cause more problems for them than maybe they realize.
We've always said this. I think we both agreed on that fact. This is a testing ground, right? These are pretty like I said, these are games that aren't necessarily going to offend people. The fact that they've come to other platforms, potentially Hi-Fi Rush, but they are. It's like a test, isn't it? Right? They're looking at how these perform. They're looking at how the community receives these and how many players they get from it, from Sony, all that sort of stuff. Switch. 100%, this is just an experiment, and then they're going to take that into developing a strategy later down the line. There definitely is that fear. I do agree that that when Phil was talking about this anyway, and they had that podcast theme, he was talking about the preserving of a digital library and all that, and that's still always their priority, and the customers and the consumers, all that kind of stuff. So I do think that if at one point this transition does happen away from consoles very later in the future, I do think it's going to be done quite methodically. I don't think they're just going to be like, home consoles don't exist anymore and you don't now have half your library until we start getting them over to PC. I do think they're going to start having some a lot more compatibility with PC, so you don't lose that digital library, and then when you do move over, that does happen. But then again, it does kind of shoehorn you still in the direction of PC, right? It kind of forces you that has to be your next step, you know, if you want to keep that digital library. So, but I think it's quite far down the future. I do agree with you. The writing is on the wall, 100%. And I do think even the next generation, like, let's just see what happens. But the next generation could be a, you know, we move to PC generation and just bite the bullet. You know, let's just see what they come out with. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and that's what I mean. Like, you know, ultimately the onus here is now on Xbox. It's now, you know, on you guys to prove to me, like, why do I need to stay in this console? And, you know, maybe you don't care, and that's fine if you don't, but like, you can't expect other people to care either. You know, I know we're the tip of the spear in terms of like, you know, the hardcore audience. I'm sure there'll be a casual audience that don't care and will stick with Xbox either because of a Game Pass or because of a digital library. But my concern is, you know, is that player base going to be big enough to sustain their console market? And you know, there's been chatters for ages, hasn't there, of like, oh, consoles are dying. You know, the industry has capped, it's peaked, and it's now dipping a bit. You know, so what's happening there? And we were even seeing PlayStation. I see Joaquin says it in chat. PlayStations are making razor thin profits. They're having a lot of
Yeah.
critical success, and they're making a lot of revenue, but their profits are razor thin.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and they're looking at multi-platform to just make those operating costs, operating profits a bit higher as well. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. We'll just have to wait and see. It's a pros and cons game here, and if they're going to take this different angle on it, like they just need to make sure, and they want to keep getting my money, they need to make sure it continues to appeal to me. And if it doesn't, that's not to say it's not going to be successful. Um, Either way, I'm very excited about all of the Xbox game studios. I think these are some really great studios. This year's lineup is great, and even other games that we've been excited for years, right? I mean, the list goes on. I'm excited about the next Gears. I'm excited about Perfect Dark. I'm excited about Everwild. Fable, I'm excited for. Even smaller stuff, Towerborn,
Mm.
South of Midnight. You know, the list goes fucking on and on. And I think like these are all games I am excited for, and that wouldn't matter if I was playing on Xbox or PC. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
there was, however, one pretty interesting bit of nuance to all of this, which I just kind of wanted to throw out because during the ABK trial, Phil said, and I've seen this, it's kind of been circulating a lot recently. Phil said, like, you know, when we put our games on PlayStation, they use 30% of the profit from that game because obviously they take a cut from the dev,
Mm-hmm.
so they take 30% of that profit to reduce our survival on the market. You know, essentially saying, you know, like, well, why don't you publish? I think they asked him, like, why don't you publish all your games on PlayStation? They said, well, because they take one of the reasons is that they take a big chunk of that and then they lock us out of games to try and, you know, kill us, basically.
Mm.
And so it is now quite interesting that we're here. And that's what's, you know, is that still the case? Or are they, because one of the things that Phil said in that follow up interview was like, well, we're going to see what happens with our partners as well. You know, maybe we need to reconsider if they like double down and go very aggressively on trying to kick us out of the console market again. Maybe we need to reconsider. So I do wonder how far things are in motion in here, or if this really is just an experiment. Am I a frog boiling in the pot very slowly, or is this a genuine, genuine experiment? You know, we'll see.
Mm. Yeah, it's true. I think it's the latter. I think it is just I think it's just an experiment. I think it's something I think is inevitable and will happen. It's just a matter of time. And it's just a matter
Mhm.
of when you want to play that piece, you know, when you want to hit checkmate. Um, I think that's basically it.
Yeah,
To be fair,
yeah, and I can see Joaquin saying the same thing in the chat. You know, Xbox will be full third party with hardware, and it
yeah.
won't matter. Yeah, maybe it won't. You know, maybe it won't. And it's like I'm saying, I see that as a successful strategy for them in terms of making more profit. I'm just talking about me. Yeah, I'm just talking about me, you know, as
Yeah.
someone who is a more hardcore gamer who does like Game Pass, but at the same time does put money into video games. Like I can afford to buy some games here and there. Um, it's better for me to have a platform with access to more games. Straightforward, you know. So we'll see. But yeah, you know, like I can see again, we can, you know, if they branch out into handheld, they do have some interesting hardware. You know, it's if they make it worth it, then that's on them.
Hmm.
But either way, not a problem with these four games. You know, it's fine. If they are going to have like timed exclusivity on stuff going forward, and that's going to be the norm, that's fine too. You know, we'll see. And it it also won't matter if they start leveraging the ABK studios as well. If we're getting these Game Pass updates, there's like 4, 5, 6 exclusives a year. Like, if they're now on their stride and hitting this constant stream of quality and quantity games, I think that will still be positive, even if, let's say, half of them end up going multi-platform in a year or two's time. So
yeah, agreed.
yeah. Yep. Okay. So just to cap the conversation off then, in response to other people this is what on the Xbox Wire post that went up when these 4 games, were officially announced, to answer the question, so why should I buy an Xbox? This is what Matt Booty said in the blog post. 5 bullet points. The biggest games in the world will be on Xbox. Number 2, our first party games will come to Game Pass day 1. Number 3, a robust and innovative multi-year hardware roadmap. Number 4, compatibility with your library is a priority, inclusive of cross-play, cross-save, and robust cloud features. And number 5, Xbox will continue to help game creators find the biggest audience possible. I thought that was quite an interesting set of bullet points there. Quite telling about what their kind of intentions are, what their North Star is for what it means to be on Xbox.
Yeah, especially the last 2 points.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the last 2 points screams, yes, we're very much looking to go third party, or align much more heavily with PC at least. And yeah, potentially other like other platforms have crossplay, cross save, cloud features, and then creators finding the biggest audiences possible. That all just screams, yeah, if we need to, we're happy to put these on other consoles with all these features, so you can basically access anything wherever you want, cross save, cross platform, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, especially those last 2 points. And then yeah, the biggest games in the world will be on Xbox, and they'll come Games Pass day 1. I mean, that technically is true, but those biggest games in the world might also be on PlayStation and PC at some point as well.
Yeah,
like that,
that's right.
that is very cleverly worded, where yes, they are on Xbox, and yes, you do have that Games Pass incentive that it's dropping into Games Pass, and you don't need to drop that price tag on it for sure. That's a big incentive for a lot of people, but it doesn't exclude the fact that they might probably will be going elsewhere. Pretty much all those bullet points say that, to me at least.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I think there's a couple of different like branching conversations off of that. To dovetail, I can see Wakeen saying, there's speculation out there that Killer Instinct 2 will be day and date on all platforms,
yeah,
as will
100%.
as will the next Doom. And I think that's interesting in passing those two, because Killer Instinct 2, I get, like, the fighting community is quite small on Xbox, even though it's quite big on PC.
It's all Sony is fighting, yeah.
But it does run the risk of actually not finding a proper audience. It does actually run that risk. So I get it. Doom, however, Xbox is the shooter box. Like, I don't get that. I feel like that should be leveraged, like, for a year exclusivity or something. Like, you own the fucking studio. Like, make that an Xbox pillar. And this is my brand association problem. Like, a lot of people are going to buy Doom on other platforms if that's the case, and not even realize they won't even look over at Game Pass. They won't care. Like, Game Pass clearly has a market penetration problem where, like, the casual audience just doesn't know it exists, don't know what it is. Fucking grab people by the scruff and turn their head towards it. That's that's the thing for me. But I can see, like Keen said, it has a legacy on other platforms. I get it. I think it's going to be bad. I think it's a real missed opportunity, I guess, is what I'd say. But we'll have to see what happens. Come on, mate.
Yeah, I think Doom is. I think that's up in the air. I don't think that's like anything. I wouldn't place my bets on that being multi-plat day and date. Like I genuinely wouldn't. Okay, Killer Instinct 2, yes, like 100%. That's just. I think that's straight up fact. If that game happens, it will be multi-plat, because to reach the biggest audience possible, you have to put it on the platform that fighting games belong and where fighting games are. And unfortunately, that is Sony. So you have to do that. That makes sense. Yeah, Doom's an interesting one. I'm not 100% sold on the fact that would be day and date multi-plat. I'd like to think not, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And this is the problem.
And
This exact discussion we're having right now is who the fuck knows. You're always speculating, and like sure, like you said, we are the hardcore gamer, but it's just not good. It's not a good conversation to have for people that are on your platform and support your platform. It's the fact that we're trying to see and maneuver the pieces and see what the fuck's going on and where stuff's going. It's not a good look.
yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's delightful that I know for a fact that the next Doom is going to be day one Game Pass. Like that's awesome because I'm almost certainly going to play that day one. That's going to be super exciting, and the cross play, cross save, fantastic. Like that's great. But at most, Game Pass has stalled. Like the growth has really stalled for the last 2 years. So that there's either not as big an audience for it as Xbox thought, or they just aren't getting through to the casual audience and getting them to understand the value and if of what a way it is and if they want it. So part of that for me is get people to look at it like seriously, because people aren't going to bother looking if it's on their platform of choice.
How would you market Games Pass then to the casual audience? How would you do it? How would you inject this into everyone's brain? What would be your strategy?
That's a good question. Well,
because they do it. They've got it plastered all over the homepage. They've got it when you press the Xbox button to go to the store or whatever. It's the icon before the store. You go to Games Pass first. I don't know. They do it quite a bit.
Clearly, what they need to do is get rid of Clippy and put Chief in instead, and get him flossing on Microsoft Word, and it will just go. Don't subscribe to Xbox Game Pass. Get it free with your, get it on discount with your Microsoft Office. And you're delivering a presentation, and you're like, with PowerPoint, and then Chief comes up, and he's like, "We need you," and he starts fucking doing the backpack kid.
So you're going propaganda.
That's propaganda. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
We need you. You're going back to like old school World War One propaganda.
Right, like conscripting people into Game Pass. Yeah.
Nice. God.
Well, they just need more of it. Like it's no secret that Xbox hasn't been good at like physical marketing compared to like Nintendo and PlayStation. They definitely have gotten better in the last 2 years, although I'm not sure if that's because of Bethesda, who are good at it. Like they need to target the more casual audience, because like what we found out was that Game Pass growth hardly grew even when Xbox Live Gold went away, and what that meant is that everyone who was already subscribed to Xbox Live Gold became a Game Pass member. Pretty much, like the people who were subscribed but weren't Game Pass members was very small. So that, to me, what that means is that the core audience knows it and they're locked in. But it's everybody behind that. It's the mass appeal. It's like Call of Duty boys. So maybe that's the next step, right? Get COD in Game Pass and get them going. Wow, this is great.
Probably will be the next COD.
Yeah.
You don't think it's going to be Games Pass, do you? The COD this year?
I don't think it's going to be this year, no, because it's had a longer dev cycle. I reckon it's costed quite a lot. I
think it might be, but
maybe
I'm not really basing that on any facts. I just gut feeling. I think it might be.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else that I've missed there. I don't think so.
The multi-year hardware roadmap we didn't really talk about too much. What's defined as multi-year?
Well, I just think they're trying to say
one more generation.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Like, and then they're just like, nah, home consoles ain't it anymore. We're going to start to phase out.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it could be a long time. Multi-year could be like 2 years, 3 years. If they really decide to pivot. Which Microsoft have done. They fucking pivot quite quick sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Multi-year doesn't lock you in. That doesn't scream to me, oh, we're locked in for 10 plus years here. No, that screams to me like it could be quite a bit earlier. So
yeah, rest in peace. Fucking what was it called? What was the streaming service called? God damn it, I'm blanking
Mixer.
on it. Mixer, yeah, rest in peace, Mixer. Yeah, that was great. How much money they spent getting that acquisition, getting Ninja.
Yeah.
And then they just shut it down. Like, oh my God.
It's nuts, dude. They're probably still fucking trying to recoup from all that. Like they must have lost so
Yeah.
much fucking money on that. It's nuts.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I hadn't really picked up on that little bit, on that little nuance. Like really, that could be 2 years, or that could be 10 years.
Mm.
Multi-year hardware roadmap. We'll see. There is unfortunately still quite a bit of ambiguity around this, but it's reading between the lines, the writing that's on the wall, things like that. It does feel like, look, we are going to put more games on more platforms, and I suppose Phil did say that on the podcast. Where it doesn't hurt our own brand, but we can make profit. Like, we're going to do that, and that's
Yeah.
that's fine. It's just I just think that Xbox are like fucking addicted to numbers. They're like numerically addicted, and they're way too data driven. They just don't get it a lot of the time, whereas Nintendo
Mm.
and PlayStation do. They get it. And I think it's just because of they're part of the wider Microsoft, and at times it becomes a problem for them. So yeah, it's I'm definitely not down on this. Like, I feel fine about it, but I'm thinking like realistically, is this going to serve me the best for the sort of gamer I am? And I'm starting to just think, well, maybe by the time next generation rolls around, I'll think twice, and I'll think about it. But if they, like I keep saying, if they've got the right things there for me, which I'm sure they want to do, they want to keep me as a customer because they get a lot of money from me. Um, then I'll stay. Simple as that. But it's
Mm.
just different. That's all. It's just different now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. It's a different air around Xbox, isn't there? There's a
Yeah,
different vibe.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
I'm not sure if the air I'm breathing is toxic or clean. I just don't know.
yeah. I just don't know. Okay, right. I'll tell you, while we're on this train of thought, let's move on to the second story. We've only got three today, but the second was that we had a little rumor mill going around. It's a pinch of salt. It comes from a fairly reliable insider, Ecstasis. Not super good track record, but not bad either. Um, Supposedly, there's an all-digital white Xbox Series X in the work, planning to be released somewhere between June and July this year. Um, and that's basically it. But the price is unknown. So probably bump the price down a bit, I'd imagine.
Mm.
But I mean, it makes sense, right? They did the Black Series S last year with slightly higher storage, so I reckon it'll be the same thing here.
Mm. Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nothing I'm excited about. I don't
No,
get these. Like, I really feel like it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe I just don't see it, but I feel like it's kind of a waste of time and money, to be brutally honest, to do stuff like this. But uh, maybe that slightly lower price point does appeal to people, and I don't know how much cheaper is it realistically gonna be. Like, it's gonna be like, I can't imagine it being like more than 100 quid cheaper. It'll be like
no. Well, I think they did a
75 quid,
£100 difference on the
100 maybe.
PlayStation 5. But like, disc drives aren't that expensive, so it depends how much of a loss they want to take. But I imagine they'll want to go for a sexier price, £100 cheaper. I would imagine.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a weird one for me. I'm not
It is a bit
interested
of a weird
in
one.
this even in the slightest. And I love like my like hardware. I like white hardware. Like I always get like white phones and stuff like that, um and I like the look of the Series S being white. And if I had the option to choose between a black or a white console, I would choose to have a white one. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
still not screaming out to me. Don't like it.
I suppose the wider context of this is like, uh, supposedly there's a PlayStation 5 Pro coming out this year. They've
Mm.
not announced anything officially, but supposedly that's happening. And supposedly Switch was what? What's he said?
We can just call me racist by saying I like white tech. It just
Yeah,
seems
we're all
cleaner.
thinking it.
No, it just seems cleaner.
Oh
I
my
just
god,
like it.
stop it.
No,
Can't say that. Fucking hell. Oh my god.
God, I'm
Jesus.
so sorry. I'm gonna come out with like
Not
an
cool, man.
apology video like later on our YouTube channel. You know, like one of those super
Unbelievable.
serious ones where I'm like, I have to
Yeah.
start the recording. I'm like,
Like, this has been
I'm
a
so
really
sorry.
hard week for me. I've learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah, I will be better. I have to be better.
It's like an anime moment, yeah.
Yeah.
um, yeah. Okay. I mean, I imagine they must make some profit off these things, otherwise they wouldn't do them. But yeah, like I said, the wider context here is that like PlayStation going to put something out. The plan was for the Switch to come out at some time, I presume, but maybe it's been delayed, as like we spoke about last week, to the beginning of 2025. But I don't know, man. It's going to look bloody awful if they popping this out against the PlayStation. But maybe a PS5 Pro is really expensive, and maybe actually it looks bad. You know, who knows really? But
Mm.
um,
Oh, what you mean if a PlayStation Pro obviously comes out being a bit beefier? Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Because the
yeah.
worst
That's
case
gonna be.
scenario with that is that comes out at a good, like they take good losses on it, and it comes out at the same price as the PS5. So 500 quid, let's say, and it's managing to pull things like 4K 60 on like every game.
Mhm.
That's like worst case scenario in terms of comparisons. And then Xbox have spat out a white version without a disc drive, and they're like, yeah, so it's the same, but it's white. We've jammed a bit of cardboard in the disc drive.
The disc drive is still there. It's just like fucking. They just
Just
put
duct
like
tape
a
over it.
yeah. They just use like polyfiller. They just put
Polyfiller,
polyfiller
yeah.
in.
Like the
Oh
button's still there.
god.
You're like, what does this do?
Yeah. This does nothing. It's just fucking. That's really funny. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That would look very bad. And I don't know. Maybe they're doing it on purpose, dude. Maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe they're trying to lose more of the console market so they can go to third party quicker.
Like, oh no,
They're
nobody
actively
bought our
bombing
new
it. Yeah.
console.
No
Yeah.
one bought our bright pink console with 7 disc drives.
We
God, we
thought it
couldn't
would
have
be
seen
really
this
good
coming.
that you can play a game and a movie at the same time. Like, we thought that would be really good.
We bought snapping back so you can do
If
both.
only.
7-way
Yeah.
snap. But like yeah, so I'm onto something, dude. I'm convinced this is a conspiracy theory.
You're getting them. You're getting them good.
That's it.
Yeah, so who knows? Ultimately, either way, I don't think it's really a big deal. But I'm more crossing my fingers and hoping that they actually have something exciting to show. I don't know if it'll be this year, but at the very least next year. Who knows if this handheld is actually happening or not? But like, they need to do something interesting with their consoles here. I think
New
they do.
controller.
I spoke about this.
What Wacky was
Yes, I'd
saying.
like
They need
a
that.
definitely. Yeah, because when we bought into this ecosystem since Xbox, pivoted, they were like, with backwards compatibility, accessibility, play everywhere, Game Pass, we were like, yeah, okay, sounds good. We bought into that vision, but it's kind of like stalled for a bit now. And like the console is just kind of has kept being a green PlayStation, but with Game Pass and a bit more compatibility, with cross
Mm,
buy and cross save and everything. But like if they took one more step, I think it would really break open like, oh, Xbox is doing this. It would like really help
mm,
get to people understand like what it is. And like I think that PC hybrid idea that I've read about and obviously I spoke about last week would
mm.
would really be good for that. So we can see again, it's on them to help me
Yeah.
understand and help me stay on that train with you if you want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you think the way that Xbox gains their track back and gains leverage is through innovation rather than
I think
um
so.
yeah.
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 They need to
Yeah.
do something with the hardware.
It's
The
very risky.
software has been great, but the hardware needs to like have something going for it, in my opinion.
Mm.
To like help carve out like what they're doing.
It's so risky though to just try and like pivot and innovate and it's just and I mean track record they tried that once and it didn't fucking work so good luck pitching that at the board yeah um
Yeah.
yeah I don't know man but yeah you are right though like that Windows like home console hybrid would be straight fire yeah
Yeah, I just think they've got all the ingredients for something really good here. Like between the cloud, the ownership of Windows and PC, like they've got some really talented architectures. Obviously, like even the Series X is a fucking great console. It's just it has a couple of other problems. The features on it are pretty great as well. Um, yeah, I just think one step further. Yeah, I agree with you. It's risky, but at the same time, if they keep bleeding console, uh, which they're not. They're not bleeding console sales. It's just that everybody who bought a console last generation is still buying an Xbox this generation, whereas PlayStation is experiencing a bit of growth, um, despite the money problems. So whatever, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. So the third and final thing that we've got to talk about, because I've got to get out of here in about 20 minutes, so we're
That's
looking good
fine.
for time
Hmm.
there. Is Age of Mythology. Now, as much as I've been, anxiously talking about the direction of Xbox and what's going on these platforms when, and is it going to go to other platforms? Age of Mythology, which was announced in 2022, is coming to Xbox and PC at the same time later this year. I'm so happy. I've been whinging about this since we started the fucking podcast. I've been going on about this for 131 episodes, haven't I, Tim?
Yeah, I always get confused between this and Ara. So yeah, I think you've been
Oh,
whinging about this one, but I don't know. But yeah,
no,
woo.
no, but no, not this game. I just mean like games going to
Oh, just
PC and not
okay.
console at the
All
same
right.
time.
I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, you whinge about that all the time. Yeah.
All the time. Don't shut up about it.
Mm.
And this is great to me because you know what? I've always wanted to play more Age of Empires. And when Age of Empires 2 came out earlier this year, I played quite a lot of it actually. And I had a really nice time. I think that game is really good. It's aged really well. They've done a great job in getting it on consoles with like the controls. It is a bit niche as a real time strategy, but man, it's good fun. Like once you get into the swing of it.
Hmm.
I played a bit of Age of Empires 4 as well, but Age of Empires 2 is just a bit more fleshed out. And they're still fairly similar games, to be honest. Um, for Age of Mythology, a bit more arcadey. For
Yeah.
those who don't know, it's still a real-time strategy, but instead of picking different civilizations, um, you pick like a pantheon, like Greek or
Cool.
Roman or Egyptian, etc., and then you pick like one of three major gods to determine what your play style is, and then like throughout the game, as you enter different ages, you pick minor gods, like Aphrodite, for example,
Mm.
or Anubis, I think maybe might be a minor
What?
god as well.
Anubis is a minor god I'm not installing.
I might be wrong.
Anubis
Maybe
is
he's
the
probably.
boy. He's the god of
Yeah, I know he
death.
is, man.
He's the Egyptian god of death.
Is he the one? Is
I
he?
think
Yeah, I
so.
suppose he is. Yeah,
Or is he
you're
like god
probably
of the
right. He probably is.
underworld? I don't remember which one it is. He's one of the two. But yeah, he's a big boy for Egyptian. Like
Is that is it
that was
Thanatos
literally the
Egyptian?
person I would have picked. No, he's Mayan, I think.
Really? Nah, not Mayan. Maybe like
I
Roman.
think he is. But
Really
yeah,
testing
no,
our smite
like
knowledge here.
like immediately I would have gone Egyptian and gone Anubis. Like that would have been straight fire. Yeah. Or like Horus or
He's
something
Greek.
like that. That would have been cool.
Horus.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Thanatos is Greek. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So um, yeah, so it's a bit more arcadey, and you get stuff like you can throw down Zeus's bolts and stuff from the sky as so it's still a real time strategy, and that you're still like looking after your people, but it's a bit more arcadey, a bit more not taking itself too seriously, and I think that's quite exciting actually, to be honest. So Game Pass Day One for me is actually like quite an exciting, again, first party Game Pass exclusive game for this year on in a year that for me,
Yeah.
which is already quite exciting.
Do we I'm in total agreement with you with the fact that this is definitely much more up my alley than something like Age of Empires. I just want to have a little bit more fun with it, and yeah, if they bring like gods and pantheons into the mix of it, yeah, like I'm much more sold on this. Um, do we know anything about its like co-op? Like, is there like versus? Is there online co-op? Is there like anything like that? I'm sure there probably is,
Yeah,
right?
so
Like
you can
100%. But
play 12 players. You can play up to 12 players together.
that's pretty cool.
So
Nice.
it's
Wait,
because
so
I'm
like
pretty sure they.
same pantheon, or like just like 12-player free for all?
Yeah, you can do 12 player like online, whether it's 6v6, you can get a private lobby together. I don't know about like co-op campaigns because that's a separate thing they did in Age of Empires 2. But at the very least, yeah, there's
Hmm.
multiplayer lobbies supporting up to 12 players. Is I suppose the best
Yeah.
way of saying it.
Yeah. Cool.
Um,
Cool. Cool. Cool.
but it's in the same way they did it was Age of Empires 2 was a remake of it from back in the day. This is also a remake of the original Age of Mythology, which came out I think in the early 2000s. So this is Age of Empires, no,
Yes.
Age of Mythology retold. But if AOE 2 is anything to go by, they're going to knock this out of the park. It was a 90 plus game. I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
the remake. So I'm sure this will be as well. But yes,
And
super exciting.
is this just 2024? No latter half, like first half, nothing like that. Just they just
I
slapped
don't think so.
a year
No.
on it, have they? Okay, that's cool
Yeah.
though. It's very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think these sorts of games are things, as we always say, like strategy games are something that works really well for remote play and cloud. So, like again, like if they keep supporting that, like I want the same touchscreen support that they now have with remote play on cloud streaming. That'd be pretty cool here, I imagine.
Mm,
I bet.
yeah,
I bet they'd like that.
definitely.
And if you're wondering why did that just happen now, like why was this not shown at a showcase or anything? Well, the game was announced 2 years ago, but they had the Age of Empires event this week. It was called New Year, New Age. So that's why we've just heard about this now, and it's just been announced.
Cool.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, in terms of the topics, Tim, we've done pretty well. We've chewed through them. Anything else on your mind before we sort of jingle off and get out of it?
I don't think so. No, I don't think anything else came to mind news-wise this week that popped into my brain.
Hmm.
So I think I am good to go. I think.
Awesome. Cool. Let's keep it lean and we'll wrap it up there then.
Mhm.
Thank you, Joaquin. Special shout out to Joaquin for being here for us in our time of need, and we're missing our third.
Ledge.
Everyone else, thanks for watching. If you like listening to us today, we'd really appreciate a like, maybe a subscribe. That would be a bit cheeky. That would be quite nice. You can find us on all popular podcasting services, and we will be back same time next Sunday.
Yeah. Have a good week, everyone.
Have a good week, guys. All the best. Bye.